Friday's good.
We will start the session, and I have just a few housekeeping things before I pass it over to Brittany. My name is RJ Panesi. I work here in our Career and Professional Development office at WGU. Excited for this session. It is part of our month-long expo titled Career Quest. So many of you registered for the session through Handshake. So we certainly would encourage you to certainly attend some of the other sessions that are going on. We have one session actually right after this one with an alum that's titled Beyond the Aisles, Building Bold Careers in the Food Industry. And as somebody that's worked in hospitality before, I certainly value those types of sessions to gain insight there. So a great session. And you can register for any of those sessions through Handshake. On our careers page, you'll see those marketed. So certainly take advantage because it's not very often you get to connect directly with a recruiter that is recruiting for open roles. This session is being recorded, and that recording will be sent out sometime tomorrow. Attached to that recording is going to be a questionnaire. It should take you no more than 2 minutes to fill out. It's 2 minutes. It's 2 questions. We value your opinion as students and alumni, and we're constantly looking for that feedback. So a lot of the sessions that we end up holding is based off of the feedback that you all provide. So we would encourage you to please take the time, fill that out. I'll also share that link at the end of the session. So keep an eye out for that in the chat. If you do have questions, we will have a designated Q&A. You can post those questions into the chat. We'll read those off and then kind of go from there. And without further ado, what I will do, pass it over to Brittany. Brittany, the floor is yours.
Thank you. No pressure having a survey at the end and also being recorded. So I'll try to live up to the challenge. Let me make sure I'm including sound because I have some fun videos for y'all as well. But hi, everyone. So excited to be here. Thank you, RJ, for inviting me. So I'm excited. My name is Brittany, first and foremost. I'm one of the recruiters for the Disney College program. Thank you for the time to just share a little bit more about the Disney College program and the opportunity. I know some of you mentioned that you'd heard about it. Some of you haven't. So I'm excited to welcome you. And of course, being Disney, I promise, RJ, I won't say too many magical words, but we always like to start our sessions with some fun engagement. So I hope you enjoy this next video to really get you excited. Okay, I know a lot of you had shared you'd been come to Disney before. I don't think there's anything better than Mickey and fireworks at the end. Was everyone able to hear my sound okay? I always just like to check. Everyone good? Yes. Okay,
Yes.
great. Perfect. It's not as special without the music. The music is like the special touch. But I would love to just talk a little bit further. And let me ask, I know a lot of other people joined after. Has anyone heard of the Disney College Program? I know some of you mentioned earlier that you're familiar, but love to hear. Or maybe you know about Disney just in general. Maybe you grew up with our movies. Yes, first time. Great, awesome. I know, Charlie, you've been here to Disney before, so you're very familiar with the parks. First time, awesome. Well, really, as RJ shared, I'm going to cover a lot of great information with you. But if you do have any questions, RJ, whatever is best for you, I'm happy to answer it kind of in the moment, or we can wait till the end to do some Q&A as well too. You might have some questions, but I feel like I'm an open book, so please definitely ask those questions. This session is really intended for you. So first and foremost, what we're going to be covering is Give me 1 second. My computer just shut down. 1 second. But first and foremost, I can talk this presentation without everything. But first and foremost, what we're going to be talking about is the our amazing company. We're also going to talk a little bit more about why the Disney College Program, because you can imagine, I know RJ is really presenting you with a lot of great opportunities, which is amazing. Sometimes it gets a little overwhelming knowing how many different opportunities are out there, but there's a lot of amazing companies that have internships, and it's great that you guys have this platform to be able to learn a little bit more. But we want to share from with you what our alumni share, what as an alumni myself, I can share with some of my opportunities, like what we've learned and why the Disney College Program is so unique and so special. From there, I'd love to talk a little bit more about the program components. And the reason why is because a lot of people just think of like Disney and they think of, working at our theme parks, which are pretty amazing, but we have so many other options as well and opportunities. I got my screen back up, so let me pull that back up for you. But you think of like working at the parks, which we will talk about obviously, but there's so many other components, such as our learning offerings as well as the living environment. So I want to walk through all of those components. I want to take time to walk through application. We do have an application that's open in this very moment. It's for our spring 2026 application. Some of you might be like, wow, that's like right around the corner. I don't know if I have the time for that, but we'll talk about what our application cadences. And if you are interested in this program, I'm biased, it's pretty fantastic. But if you are interested in this opportunity, I'll give you some helpful tips and tricks, and we'll walk through the application process. We're also going to like recap everything because there's a lot of information I'm going to throw at you. So some of you might walk away being like, okay, what was that again? So I'm going to have an opportunity for you to like take a picture of some of those key important things that I review. Okay, without further ado, how many people grew up kind of learning about our company, whether our movies, maybe I know Terrell, you've been to our theme parks and resorts, but I'd love to hear from you. And please don't be shy. It'd be pretty boring if I'm just talking to myself. So share with me, did you grow up learning our brand through the movies? Maybe you went to the parks. Is there anything that like ties you to our company? Or maybe you're not familiar with Disney at all. Hopefully that's not the case. Went to the parks first. Awesome. Wonderful. Movies for me, Lion King forever. Chris, I cry every time I watch that. Yeah, the VHS. Yep. I still have some. I don't have a way of watching them, but I still have them. Disney movies, yeah, in the parks. So when you look on screen, it surprises people. Mickey Mouse Club, I love that. It surprises people when they realize how many different segments we have within the company. We have over 35 different segments. When you look on screen, is there anything that you're like, oh, I didn't realize this segment was part of Disney? Sometimes when you see like FX, that kind of throws people off, or for me, it was like National Geographic. Any surprises? Sometimes I get people who are like, I knew all of this. Wow, I know, pretty impressive, right, Melinda? Sometimes it's and the great thing about working for this company, I've worked for the company for 15 years. I realized I didn't share that when I introduced myself. And it really always is ebb and flowing and evolving. It's a great perk and benefit of working for this company. It's always continuing to grow. Yeah, Freeform. That surprised me as well too. It used to be, I think, ABC Family too. A lot of people are surprised by ABC News, National Geographic. The wonderful thing is what we and why I like to start with this as we're kicking off this session is because anyone who comes on the Disney College Program obviously is coming to work for our company and part of our Disney Ohana. So what that means is we all fill under all of these different segments. So we'll talk more about this when it comes to our learning offerings. But the great thing is, do you think there's individuals and cast members in the company who started on a college program that work in one of these different segments? Absolutely. So we are very lucky to work for a company where there's so many endless opportunities and possibilities. And a lot of people use this Disney College Program as a great way to get their foot in the door. Sometimes, as we know, with a company as large as Disney, it's like, how do you even navigate, getting in and part of that company? there's great platforms like Disney Careers, but for here, this is a great platform, especially for as you're in your university prime, you're able to get your foot in the door. I always say having Disney on your resume is never a bad thing, whether you stay with this company or not. It's always a great platform because there has great brand recognition as well too. Would anyone love to work for the company one day, maybe in one of these different components or segments? It's okay to say, yeah, with Rory, yeah, absolutely. Me, yes. And it's definitely a possibility. There's so many people who start off just like me on the college program who migrate into these different segments, and they use this college program as a great way to network and continue to build relationships. We are very much a relationship-based company, which is why obviously we have our first name only on our name tag, which is why if you've been to our parks, you've seen that too. So let's talk a little bit further about why the Disney College Program. I am here to enhance and implore you to do any sort of internships that you can. It really makes you, as a recruiter, competitive in the market too. So of course, we'd love for you to explore the Disney College Program, but I'm just so glad that you're going to these opportunities and exploring those internship opportunities out there. From a Disney College Program perspective, why we feel like it really is tremendous is first and foremost the relationship. As I mentioned, we're a relationship-based company. You have the opportunity to work and live and serve our guests from all around the world, right? So it really is a tremendous impact the people that you're going to meet. My work location leader, in full transparency, I'm originally from Texas. We tend to migrate back home. If I have any Texans on, they understand. I came on this college program to do exactly that. Add something to my resume and then go back to grad school, go back to Texas. But I had a fantastic leader and he encouraged me to think about what's next within the company. As I mentioned earlier, I had no idea this company was so large or even that it was an opportunity to continue on with the company and encouraged me showed me the different paths, such as like a Disney internship, which we can talk a little bit later about, encouraged me to stay on with the company. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here, obviously, 15 years later. So you meet some amazing resources and build a lot of great relationships. A lot of your leaders in the area have started on the program, so very familiar. And I was a front desk hostess when I was on my program, but my leaders had been in a wide variety of fields. So they were great networking partners for me as I wanted to get into like events. So that's also a great platform. From a personal standpoint, I know I shared earlier if you were on my college program roommate, who was a random roommate, was one of my maid of honor in my wedding, but also now lives in Denver. So I visit her quite often. We have close to 10,000 students at any given time on the program. Do you think you're going to meet a friend or two? Absolutely. So we feel that you meet lifelong friends. I can't promise this for everyone, but sometimes we have extra magic and love on the program and people find their significant others. We even have kids now whose parents have met on the program and now they're on the program. So it really is special for us because our program's been around since 1981. So not many opportunities can say they've brought that love and experience and now their children want to be part of that magic and that experience and they've come to join us. Next is transferable skills, obviously foundation of that relationship, but what are you going to get out of this experience? So we'll talk in a little bit of just the different roles that you're going to be placed in. When I say roles, I mean like job opportunities and positions. You're going to notice not all of them are like more like major specific, but I want you to know if anyone who comes on this program is going to walk away with a lot of great transferable skills. A lot of you shared with me that you've been to Disney. Do you think you're talking to more than just 10 people every day? Interacting with our guests. Absolutely. Our guests are from all over the world, all age groups. They're here for all different special occasions. And I know, or Jay, don't hate me. I know this sounds corny, but really what you learn at the beginning when you're going through training is our purpose as cast members is to create happiness. Like how many people can say that as a company, that's our core foundation, and they really do believe that. So you're learning really heavily about communication, transferable skill or communication, problem solving, being able to handle situations, right? We know It rains a lot here in Florida. We have hurricanes, unfortunately. Rides go down because some of them, the attractions are outside. So if there's lightning, those go down. So you can imagine some guests are really disappointed. They're waiting in line and all of a sudden it goes down. As cast members, we're there to be able to assist and turn over those situations as best as we possibly can. That's one of the things I fell in love with this company is that my leaders empowered me to help make decisions and think quickly on my feet. They were obviously here to support me in any way I can, but it was the first time I'd ever had someone like treat me like a cast member and really support and empowered me to make those like leadership type of decisions. And that's when I kind of was like, okay, this is a great place to work and this is a great place to be. But you learn a lot about transfer, communication, problem solving. Our guest service is bar none. I know I'm biased, but I think we're known around the world for our level of guest service. And when I tie it back to that creating happiness, you can understand why. Because as a company, we're really focused on making those experience for our guests because you have to remember that our guests spend a lot of money to come here, obviously, but they come here for big life events. They get married here, they celebrate birthdays here, they have anniversaries. Bachelorette parties are big, obviously, at Epcot as well. So they're coming here for really big milestones, and it's a really big deal for us that they choose us to come celebrate those moments and those family reunions and everything. Other things you're going to learn time management. It sounds like all of you probably are learning that as well already in your university life, but you're going to be responsible at your apartment. If you choose to live flamingo, like, making your own meals, transporting yourself to and from work, making sure you get there on time. For some people, it's their first, like, kind of first real job. And you have to obviously make sure that you're on time. You're in our Disney look, which we'll talk a little bit more about, but those are things that, we have expectations of our cast members. And then last but certainly not least is our program experience. You're going to hear a lot more about just our overarching program experience. We truly want you to make the most of everything this program has to offer. So all the fun events, all the learning offerings for your growth development, all the different networking opportunities, and company perks. How could I forget that as well too? We really want you to go have fun, experience the magic when you're working and when you're not, and really just like grow as a person and just have the most wonderful memories, right? So when I was on my program, I shared earlier with some groups, my coworkers and I had the opportunity to go to the filming of the Christmas parade. Justin Bieber was there, so I was very excited. My 22-year-old self was like fangirling, but those are some of those moments and memories that you just like can't erase. And I still look back with such fondness, hence why I'm still here with not only this company, but being able to just share something that I love. So you'll walk away with some really wonderful memories and experience on the program, whether you choose to stay on with the company or not. So let's talk a little bit about creating the magic and talking more about what the roles look like working on the Disney College program. But before we do that, I always like to have a fun little engagement question because again, I said I'd be boring just talking to myself. A lot of you mentioned that you've been here, but if you've never been to Walt Disney World before, like our theme parks and resorts, what are some places that our guests love to do? Or if you've been here before, what do you love to do when you come to the parks? Please don't be shy. Like I love to. RJ, you've been here before, right? Not to
Just
put you
once,
just
just
once.
once.
Did you ride any rides?
Uh, one or two, one or two.
Just just one or two, hopefully more than just one or two. Yeah, well, hopefully
It's
you
been
had
a
some
while.
great.
I'm trying to, Tower of Terror, no longer in
Yeah.
existence, but I do
No,
remember
it
that.
is. Oh my gosh, of
Oh,
course it
isn't it?
is. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought they
it's
did away with that.
no, the Tower of
Oh, okay.
Terror. I think people would protest if they did that. The Tower of Terror is still there. So a lot of, not to put you on the spot, Archie, but I always love. So people said visiting the animals, probably at Animal Kingdom, very cool. Princesses, food, Guardians, great. I'm glad you've ridden that attraction. If you've never gone on Guardians, put it on your list. It's amazing. Michael, I love it. Main Street, then Starbucks, then Tomorrowland, Space Mountain, and Indiana Jones. You have like a whole map laid out. Awesome. Okay, amazing. Well, thank you so much, Epcot. Rory, I'm with you, especially right now because Food and Wine is happening. So you'll find me at Epcot most weekends. So the reason why I always like to share and highlight that is because I think it kind of resonates a little bit more when we ask you where you like to be, where our guests like to be, and when I compare it to our available roles. Because just like you shared, our guests love to go to attractions. All of you love to like eat, ride rides. I don't know if I saw anyone say shopping, but our guests cannot stay away from the merchandise locations, which I don't blame them. I cannot either. So those are our top three roles when we think about our 18 different roles that you could be placed in for the program. So attractions, merchandise, food and beverage. Other ones would be custodial, lifeguard. When you think of that other magical role buckets, I feel like that's a little deceiving because all of them are magical in their own ways, but they're just like more limited in the capacity. So think of what I did on my program. So concierge, front desk, other resort capacities are like bell services, children's activities, watercraft, photo pass photographer, character attendant, character performer, think costuming. Those are the type of roles that fall into that bucket. Some of the people always think of Magic Kingdom, but obviously we have other theme parks and resorts and Disney Springs as well, where we need our cast members at too. We always get the question, when do I find out which role I'm placed? We'll talk more when you're able to share preference and interest, but you officially find out what your role and location is about a month before you arrive, and then officially 7 to 10 days before you arrive as well too. So I share that because it's not when you're made an offer. It really is that closer to that arrival day. So let's talk a little bit more about the roles, the positions, what that all entails as well. So happy to report this is a paid internship. I feel like when I was looking for internships back in the day, not all of them were paid. I hope that at this point now, a lot of them are, but it is starting in January for our spring program, starting at $18 per hour. I'm going to jump a little bit and I'll get back to Disney Look as well. But when you think from a pay rate standpoint, like what your hours would look like, we typically see our cast members working between 30 and 50 hours per week on average. But you can imagine on peak periods, it can go up from that. Again, that's just really the average. The nice thing for you is you're always guaranteed to be scheduled a minimum of 30 hours. You can, of course, pick up extra shifts. Or I lived at like the 40 hours per week and I was totally happy with that. But one of my coworkers picked up extra shift and was working like 50 to 60 hours per week, but that suited him. So that's great. I always share too, make sure that you're really talking to your university, your family, your loved ones before deciding to submit this application, because really we need you to have full availability. You would be in Orlando, Florida, so not remote positions, really in person. You're going to be working days, nights, weekends, holidays, and that's not something I just like spiel lightly. I really do mean that. There is, from personal experiences and just from what we have see from our scheduling team, you will work, mornings, nights. I worked Thanksgiving, Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, sorry, and then New Year's Day when I was on my program. So there is potentially where you would be working holidays. I know the spring has less holidays, so that's a little bit nice, but you will have days off as well too. So typically I had Tuesday, Wednesday off. We typically find like Tuesday through Thursday are the dates that our participants typically see, but not always the case. But we always say you'll typically have 2 days off per week. Now, if it's a really busy time period, maybe your work location that week might schedule like a 6 day, but it really typically you will have those 2 days off because we want you to take advantage of those learning offerings that I'll talk about soon, as well as, playing in the parks and just experiencing all the program has to offer. You are able to request time off once you get into the area. If you are like accepted into this program, you do have to wait until you go through Traditions, which is our like onboarding program, which is really special, and get into your area. That's when you can submit some time off. I'll jump back to Disney Look. So I know I might have mentioned it earlier when someone talked about like the costumes, something like that. Disney Look is our appearance guidelines. If you've been to our parks, you might notice that all of our cast members are in our costumes. We have our lovely name tags. It's really to help identify us. It's a big part of the show component as well, too. If you've ever been to any of our attractions, like RJ, I know you mentioned Tower of Terror. Our cast members are not wearing outfits like what I'm in or what you see on screen. They really are part of the show and the story, even their demeanor. They're not supposed to be nice and really be like kind of moody. So it all plays into the story. The importance of Disney look is just to uphold like our appearance guidelines. It's been around since Disneyland opened in 1955, so it's evolved definitely over the time. When I was on my program, I had to wear pantyhose. I can't even imagine our participants having to do that now, but so you can see things have evolved over the years. Even things like tattoos, visible tattoos used to not be allowed, but now as long as they're appropriate, they're allowed to be visible as long as they're under the size of your palm, fully extended too. So those are some changes that have been implemented, which are really great. And transportation, I know you shared earlier, a lot of you are from faraway locations, such as like Salt Lake City, right? Nashville, things like that, Jersey. So some of you might want to bring your vehicle for your program, and you're absolutely able to do that. For anyone who's like, hey, no, I can't bring my vehicle, maybe it's not reliable, maybe you're like, hey, I share it with family. We got you covered. We have transportation that takes you to all of our theme parks, resorts, Disney Springs, any place that you would be working. And it also goes through a leisure route as well. So it goes to a neighborhood Target, super Target, Walmart route, depending on the day as well too. So I always like to share that transportation is available. The caveat is that you do need to live at Flamingo Crossings Village, which is our housing community. I'll talk about that very, very soon. So that's the only caveat that in order to use our transportation, you would need to be residing at Flamingo Crossings Village. Let me pause real quick. Any questions so far? Feel free to drop it in the chat. I don't typically do this, but I love that y'all are engaged group. So by all means, if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat. I'm going to actually show a fun little video in just a second about our learning offerings, which are, I think, the best component of our program. As I mentioned, we have some amazing opportunities for you to grow, develop personally, professionally, start networking, as the career opportunities at Disney are endless. I promise I'll get to any questions you ask in just a second, but I'd love to show you this little video from our programs team, just introducing our learning component.
Our learning experiences here, they're amazing. When you think of the Disney College program, you think of living, learning, and earning, but our learning truly connects our participants to the endless possibilities that await them all throughout the Walt Disney Company. So while they're here, they can be sitting in a classroom, right, getting to learn about the business of the Walt Disney Company. They could be networking with leaders from all across different divisions of the company.
We get to explore different areas at Walt Disney World, and we get to go behind the scenes and see their favorite attraction, to learn how they operate at that specific location, and they even get to learn the story behind that attraction and how we get to put it out to our guests from all over the world.
While our students are here, we truly believe that we are helping grow not just the future of the Walt Disney Company, but the future leaders around the world. And so our activities really do help to engage them while they're here.
And I mean, where else in the world can you be able to have these uniquely Disney experiences other than your Disney program?
I sincerely hope that when our participants walk away from any of our learning activities, that they have learned to believe in themselves and that they have the self-confidence to go out there and lead the future. They are here on an amazing Disney program, and I truly hope that they have that self-confidence to know that they can contribute back to that magic and that they have a network that will support them along the way.
I hope that participants are ready to pursue the unimaginable, to pursue their dreams, and feel confident that they've gathered resources through their Disney program and skills that they're able to take in that next step, in that next chapter in their career.
Awesome. So I'm excited to talk a little bit further. I don't see any questions, but if any pop up, RJ, please stop me. So I'd love to jump in to some of our I guess, programming for our learning offerings. So some of you might be like, I'm taking enough classes. I really want to just kind of take a break and focus on school. And these are all like optional, right? So you're not required to take any of these, but I would highly encourage you, if you do decide to do the Disney College program, really push yourself to go to some of these opportunities. You never know what's going to inspire you, who you're going to meet, and what could be your potential like career path. So first and foremost, we always like to say their career possibilities are endless. So we have a whole bucket called Endless Career Possibilities. And, we have standalone offerings where you can learn from our industry's best. We have career spotlights to executive conversations to really special engagements and guest speakers from across the different segments. That screen I showed you earlier that had all the different segments will bring individuals and leaders, executive in from, ABC News, from National Geographic, from Hulu, right? To really inspire you and just hear from them and their own stories of how they got to where they are, their hurdles and challenges, what advice that they would give. Most of those from different segments tend to be like virtual, but they try their best to be in person. So you'll even potentially have those networking opportunities as well. So it's a great place to just learn from industry leaders across the different segments and just truly not only hear the endless possibilities, but see them in real life. And the great thing is a lot of them have started with the program themselves. So I always think it's helpful for me not to just talk about the buckets, but to give you like real life examples. So for this week, we had a director from Disney Programs and Experiences. His name is Perry Crawley. We had the communications and Disney signatures experiences team. So if I have any like communication majors, there's a lot of different teams within our company. So they talked more about how they communicate and advertise our signature experiences with our guests. We also had, oh my gosh, we had a senior manager for costuming resources, planning, interrogation. I'm trying to think, we had a really cool one, the other spotlight on Disneyland resort marketing strategy. That's just like in the first, that's just like this week. And we had someone as well from a senior vice president of finance at Disneyland, as well as Disneyland Resorts as well, events, sorry. So that's just in 2 weeks. So you can see there's just a lot of different opportunities. We are very lucky. Our company is so large that we're able to bring in individuals from all those different segments. So sometimes it's those fancy ones like Imagineers and animators and things like that. But then, as a company, we also need our team with horticulture and finance. And so we bring in all of those panelists to really just talk about their journey and hopefully inspire you. We have some individuals who come on the program that are really dead set, like, I know what I want to do. And then some people who are like me, who are like, I think I want to do events, but I'm really not quite sure. And so I would have seized all these different opportunities because truly, I didn't know some of these roles even existed. I mean, we have a whole team dedicated to fireworks. How many people can say that? So it really is truly inspiring. We also have, that personal and professional development. I keep honing in onto that, but really development opportunities to help you grow in a true like Disney fashion as well. So we have things such as like financial fitness. We are really honing in on emotional fitness. It's so great because that's something that our participants have asked for. And when I see these classes and see how vulnerable they are and having healthy, honest, real dialogue, the room is packed too. It's not like just a handful of people. So it's a great safe space to just really talk through your emotions and how you navigate that. One of my favorites is sign language basics. I've always wanted to learn sign language. And of course, that's a great advantage for our guests as well. So we do offer classes such as that. We also have things that's probably offered at your university as well too, such as like resume development, acing the interview, networking 101, but we also put our own like Disney twist on things too. The great thing is we really want to help you navigate what those next steps look like. So what we offer is recruiter office hours every week. Not many companies I can say have recruiters that are on site every week from like 3 different buckets. So our team, as well as full and part-time opportunities, those Disney internships, to really help you like navigate what that looks like, not only from the application process, but your resume, helpful tips and tricks or questions that you have. And they are truly on site, like face to face every week. And you'll be able to have that opportunity to really ask those questions questions. We also even host, like yesterday, we had a What's Next session to help walk through extension opportunities, extending full or part-time opportunities to help you really navigate what those could look like. And we always try to do it really early on so you have a little bit of time to plan as you're navigating through your program too. Disney behind the scenes, I think this is like personally one of my favorites. Obviously, if you're coming to Disney College program, you have a little bit of a love for the brand. And so throughout the program, you have the opportunity to learn more about the company outside of like a classroom setting. So we have what's called Discover Disney, which is exploring really those like behind the scenes of some of your favorite attractions. So RJ, you'll be jealous to hear one of which is Tower of Terror. Some of them are like Haunted Mansion, Jungle Cruise. I know they recently did Pirates of the Caribbean. They do Tiano's Bayou Adventure as well too. So lots of different opportunities from some of your favorite attractions, and you really get to hear behind the scenes and the stories and those like immersive details that you might not have noticed when you're just walking through the queue as a guest. There's so many things that you don't necessarily like point out, and I think those classes and offerings are really fun because then as you continue on, maybe you're there as a guest in the future with your family, you can point out all those unique nuances as well too. Another component of that is our Disney Heritage class. As I mentioned, a lot of people have a love for our brand and our company, and it's been around a long, long time, so we're very fortunate with that. So the students and the participants asked us for these Disney Heritage classes, and so we started out small and they just have continued to grow. So everything from the 1964-65 World Fair to the opening of Disneyland to the Walter Roy relationship to even like recently they added Duffy and Friends. I don't necessarily always get the appeal of Duffy, but if you've ever been to any of our Asia parks, they're very popular. Duffy is kind of like the equivalent of like Mickey here. It's fascinating. And so we talk about more about like Duffy and Friends and how it started and all of that, the intricate details too. So walk away learning a lot. And again, these are all optional classes that you're able to like jump in and sign up for. And of course, if you are taking classes from your university, we also have academic support. So things like independent study hall, which obviously might not correlate to you, but your scheduling team does not know in full transparency that you're taking classes from your university. All they know is that you need to be scheduled at least 30 hours and then based on like what the labor needs are in that area. So independent study hall is our learning team partnering with your scheduling team to allow you some time off up to 6 hours per week to just really focus on your schoolwork. You don't have to go to a classroom. You can do it from your apartment or some of our little quiet spaces around property as well too, but it's really to focus on schoolwork. And then we also proctor exams at Flamingo Crossings Village. We are ACE accredited. So what that means is Disney Programs is accredited by American Council on Education too. So if you're looking to gain credit, obviously, you know who to talk to when your academic advisors and your team, if that is an option to receive credit for that. Okay, so I know we've hit, would previous work experience open higher position opportunities or just entry level positions? So I'll speak on the Disney College program and then I'll elaborate a little bit further. We're going to talk a little bit more about the application process, but we do ask that you submit a resume for when you're submitting an application for the Disney College program. Really, it's to learn more about your background history, whether you've done volunteer experience or whether you've been involved in a club. We love to see that. It doesn't necessarily always have to be your jobs. Now, if you have previous work experience and you're looking for the next like elevated position, which is our Disney internships, those are more major specific. So we're looking for, thousands. They're looking for one person in maybe a finance role or a marketing role or event planning. That experience is going to weigh really heavily and that resume is going to weigh really heavily because you're competing with thousands of other students just like yourself for this one position. So truly, and I would say regardless of even entry-level positions at for the company, your work experience is really going to play at hand. So do make sure that you're doing and your due diligence of getting your resume in order, having people review it, making sure the layout, the font, the style all looks good. Because again, with those things, they are pretty competitive too. I'm not saying our Disney College program is not, because it absolutely is, but we don't rely when we're having those interviews is on work experiences, like the overall picture. So all of those components as well. Good question. Okay, so I have another fun little video for you. Has anyone heard of Flamingo Crossings Village before? You might not have, but it's our beautiful new. Oh, Michael has. Awesome. Great. State of the art. I think it launched in 2021, but it's purpose built. I'd love to show you a video of Flamingo Crossings Village, which is our housing property owned and operated by American Campus Community, which is where our Disney Programs participant reside. And there's 2 neighboring sections in East and West Village. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, I'd love to know, what do y'all think? It's pretty spectacular, beautiful. There's always something going on. But love to jump in a little bit. First and foremost, Flamingo is not mandatory, meaning you can choose to live off-site. I highly encourage it if, unless you have family or friends who are in the area, I highly encourage it. It's a great sense of community. I know some of you might have like family that might move down with you, whatever the case may be. You can live off site. Just there is a great sense of community if you choose to live at Flamingo Crossings Village. So let's talk a little bit more about all of the perks that come with it. So amazing amenities. I know you saw in the video resort style swimming pools. There's 2 on each property. There's one that's like a quiet one that's more lively. They'll host like movie nights, especially over the summer. They'll do pool parties, other things. People are always grilling out there and hanging out because we do typically have really nice weather. The number one thing people wanted was a really nice fitness center. So we have a 24-hour fitness center that is over 12,000 square feet, which, to put it in perspective, it's the entire second floor of our community center. It is ginormous, but really state of the art. We have volleyball courts, basketball courts. We have the community center has like a recreation area. That is where you saw like the chess piece, the cornhole, foosball, all of that good stuff. And there's always people hanging out in that area that you can, like, let's say, like rent a movie and play it in the big screen. Typically they're Disney themed. We've even several times I've walked by and the Eras Tour is playing. Of course, I have to sit down and like watch it for a little bit too. But we even have innovation pods, which are quiet spaces if you need to study, do an interview. We've even had people like will come in, watch like The Bachelorette or, football games and things like that together. So really a great sense of community. These apartments, as you saw in the video, are fully furnished. So truly move-in ready. The only thing that you would really need to bring is your own personal items and beds. So all the major appliances are there. Y'all even have like a washer and dryer in every unit, which is not the case when I did the program. So quite a nice luxury. And there's even like a smart TV in the living space that you can share with your roommates. You will have roommates on the program. I think that's a great component of it. But you'll be living with 3 other roommates in the apartment. You'll never share your room with more than one person, and some of the options we'll talk later about. You have your own bedroom and bathroom that you can preference, and some you'll just share a bathroom, and some that you'll share both spaces too. But great resources. I know you're coming from near and far, so I always think it's comforting to know you have a whole American Campus team that's there 24 hours a day. I think if you're having roommate challenges, maintenance issues, whatever the case may be, there's always someone on site. We also have presence from a Disney side. There's a whole apprentice hall, which is the building that Disney resides in, from our learning team, from our programs team. They're there to be a resource and guide from you, whether it's your first week and you're like, how do I look at my training schedule and figure out where I need to go? Or, welcoming you on arrival day to, hey, I got my company self-admission pass, but I don't know how to use it. They're going to walk you through it and be a great resource for you as well. We also have employee assistance program, which is a counseling program that's free for our cast members. They are on site 3 days a week. And then recently we added an on-site counselor that is there 5 days a week, which is really awesome. So she has open office hours and you can set appointment times with her. So think if like you're on the program and you got some bad news or you're just really homesick, that's what she's there for. So you have a lot of great support and resources while you're there. And again, not a cost to you, it's all part of your program. Housing, rent, I always think it's important to talk about costs. Let me say that rent comes right from your paycheck, or you can pay it all up front, but there's 3 different layout styles, which is why you'll see the range. So it is starting in January, $227 to $275 per week, and that is per person, so not split amongst the 4. And that includes really your utilities, your Wi-Fi, water, waste disposal, electricity, everything's included, and of course, everything from your program standpoint as well too. So like the gym, learning offerings, transportation, there's 24-hour courtesy officers on site as well. So from a safety standpoint, of course, there's always someone monitoring who comes in and out of property, and there is no overnight like visitors or guests. You can sign in visitors, but even like if you're getting something delivered, they have to safely wait outside for you. They're not allowed on property, right? So we just are very mindful of who's coming in and out. You are able to bring your vehicle, as I mentioned earlier, for the program. If you do want to bring your vehicle, there is a parking HAGTAG fee of current state $150, and nothing you have to worry about now, but I always just like to be mindful of like the cost too. Now, we have so many fun events. I know if you were watching that video, you saw all the different events from like grocery bingo to character meet and greets to just like smaller events. So, my thing is always like giving you what's happening right here. So we love for you to have fun at Flamingo Crossings Village and experience the parks. But we also want you to go outside of like on trips to the local area. Some of you have never been to Florida or Orlando, so we do highlight a lot of like different trips as well. So just this week, they had a craft, like bring your own supplies, a craft meetup. So it's one of our more smaller events. Last night, because we had arrivals on Monday, they had a big 90s nostalgia night. And they had a character meet and greet with that. They also had yesterday, they had today's Wednesday. So goat yoga trip, which was really fun. I'm very jealous about that. Sounds like a lot of fun. They have tonight a Lego Masters night. Tomorrow night, they're doing movie and crafts. Friday, they're going to Buc-ee's in Daytona. I always say Buc-ee's first because that's the real star. If you haven't been, you're in for a treat. And they even at night are doing like a reading meetup. So you'll see just in this week, there's a lot of larger events and then there's some smaller events as well too, because we know that everyone's a little bit different in how they like to like have fun too. So definitely something to take full advantage of on the program. There's so much fun to be had. Someone earlier in one of my sessions said there's always something going on, and that really, really is true. So benefits and perks is always something I like to highlight. You'll learn a lot more if you go through this process, but as cast members, you get self-admission into the theme parks. So yes, that does mean that you get to go in free. It means you get complimentary parking as well too. You do need to make a park reservation still and check for blackout dates. So you can imagine, I used the example like when Tron opened, Magic Kingdom was down for a little bit, but the other parks were open too. So just being mindful of that. And you also can receive one-day park hopper tickets based on your hours worked. So typically after 150 hours, 2 weeks after that, you'll receive a set of 3 one-day park hopper tickets for your friends and family to use. I think in a calendar year, you can get up to 9. So on top of that, we have great discounts on food and beverage, merchandise, resort stays, Disney Cruise Line, and then just local establishments as well. So definitely a great perk and benefit and something we like to take full advantage of. So let's walk through the application process. Hopefully all of you are learning a lot. Hopefully you're like, man, I'm sold, or maybe I'm like, I have a friend who would love this. process. So let's talk a little bit more about qualifications. So you do need to be 18 or older at the time of application. You need to be enrolled in taking classes at an accredited U.S. college, higher education program, or university. And my favorite part, or if you graduated in the last 24 months. That means if you've graduated and then you have 24 months to be able to apply for this opportunity, which I think is quite fantastic. I know I came out after I had graduated. Typically, we get asked, do we have a summer program? We do not have a summer program. All of our programs are 4 to 8 months in length. So think of semester base. And we're always recruiting the season before. So right now we have a spring application open. It will typically be open for a little bit of time so that you can talk to your advisors, your friends, family to make sure this is the right time for you, as well to be able to go through this process. But if you'd rather be here in the fall time frame, you can apply typically mid to late January. Our application will open. Students, as long as their record card's good, will always have the opportunity to be able to extend. You can do an internship for up to a year. So that's always something to keep in mind too. If you're here in the spring and you love it so much, you want to stay for the fall, you have that opportunity. Okay, but let's stack the spring application. As I mentioned, it is live, so you can scan that QR code. If you scan that QR code, it's not automatically going to have you apply. I actually encourage you to scan it because it's a great deal of information. It's something you can reference or share with a friend if you know someone who's interested. So first and foremost, you would simply apply for the program. Do make sure, obviously, the dates are something that aligns with you, which we'll go over in just a second. You're able to share preferences on roles. So some of them will ask you, do you have a high, medium, or low interest? Some of them will be yes or no. So one of the examples is lifeguard. That's not a high, medium, and low. A lot of people either are like, yes, I have experience being a lifeguard, or no, I do not. Maybe I do not want to go and be placed in that role. From that point, you submit the application. If you meet all the eligibility requirements, you'll set up an interview with a recruiter. Let me tell you, the recruiters are on our team. We work closely with them, and they are lovely. It is a 20-minute phone conversation, not intended to be scary or nerve-wracking, I promise. They really just want to hear more about you, your previous experience, and why you're interested in this opportunity too. From there, if you are made an offer, you have 7 days to accept that offer, so not a lot of time. So really being mindful of that aspect. You have 7 days to take all 3 of those steps. The things I want to really highlight is there is a program fee of $240. It's non-refundable. Let me share, I know that's a big number, but it all gets filtered back to you for your program, all those events, activities, transportation. So it does all get funneled back to you in one way or another. And so then on top of that, you would also have to select your arrival and departure date range. If you scan that QR code, they'll give you a list of all of the arrival and departure dates. So we give you parameters and you choose what's best for you. In the springtime, we only have arrivals in January and February, and the departure dates are no earlier than May. So I think it's like May through August timeframe. So if you are made an offer and you go to accept that offer, then you'd be able to select those dates, which is helpful as you start to plan that way. Anyone interested in a character performer role? If not, it's okay, but I always like to have a slide just in case there is an interest, because you do have to go through an audition process with our entertainment partners. If you're not interested, you can look at disneyauditions.com, because you do need to go to an in-person audition and apply also for the Disney College program as well too. So disneyauditions.com is a great resource for you. I know we're winding down. I covered a lot of information. If you want to scan this QR code, this will provide you a lot of the information that I shared with you today so that you can reference it at a later time. Of course, start thinking of those questions and drop it in the chat. And we only have a couple minutes left, but if you do have questions, please, I'd love to hear them. But I want to give you a moment, of course, to take that picture. Before I transition to our next slide and our last slide, I'm really just wanting you to stay connected. Here's a lot of great resources, such as our Instagram handles, TikToks, all of that good stuff, as well as our websites as well. You can even scan on the bottom. That scan needs support. That goes to our support site. If you do have any questions after this, you can also reach out to our team and open up a request that goes to our team. So you're in luck, I promise you. Obviously, RJ has my contact information if you have any questions, but if you think of anything later, you can reach out to it. Great question, Melinda. So airfare is not provided. You'd be responsible for getting yourself to and from the program or driving down, the same with like gas. What's one underrated perk or moment that made the experience unforgettable? Oh my goodness, there's just so many. You know what? I'm a relationship person. I don't think I came on my program thinking I was going to meet the people that I did, or have the experiences that I did. So I don't know if it's underrated, but really the people, and put yourself out there too. You never know who you're going to meet, like on the bus or at an event as well. I remember going to an event and I didn't really know anyone and I was so nervous, but everyone's kind of in the similar situation. Like they want to meet people and have fun, and you'll meet coworkers as well. But I don't think I realized like how much I would learn at the work location as well. I know it's hard to believe, and I promise I'll wrap up in just a second, but I was a little bit on the quieter side. And really this just helped like open me up, because you're talking to guests all day long. You're having to like make conversation. I really had been to Disney as a guest before, but they're wanting your recommendations on like dining, and you're talking to the kids and making like little pirate balloons and things like that. So it really allows you to be fun, but then you will just learn so much about yourself too. What qualities do you see in students who thrive most? I would say those who really say yes to opportunities, so just saying yes to experiences, and really are wanting to like grow. I would say that as well too, because if you kind of put yourself in your little bucket and you don't want to like meet anyone and you don't want to like learn from Disney, things like that, I tie that back to the learning offerings as well. Do yourself a service, go to as many as you possibly can. People look back all the time and they're like, I wish I had gone to those. So make sure you do that as well. Um, so for like data analytics, computer science, like masters, look at disneyinterns.com. Those applications have already started dropping. Helpful piece of advice. I'm not a recruiter for the internship program. But they probably started posting like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and you just never know when those postings are going to go live. So do yourself a service, start checking multiple times a week. Make sure you have your resume ready to go, where our application stays open for quite a bit of time. There's typically could stay up for a couple days, maybe a week, and then it will drop. So do make sure you have your resume ready to go. Other things, our program's only in Orlando, Florida with the Disney internships. I think there's like 5 different locations. So make sure you're looking at what locations are that you're what locations that you're applying for, right? Orlando looks different than Connecticut, than California. So making sure all of that too. So for specific internship roles like cybersecurity, how can we separate ourselves from other applicants? Yeah, so really good question. Again, not an intern recruiter for that team, but as a recruiter myself, you're with other students who probably in the same field or similar fields, similar experiences. If you have the same resume and experiences and organizations, projects, things like that as the people you're sitting beside in class, that does not set you apart, right? So looking at different ways and unique experiences to set yourself up for success. So a lot of people will come from all different majors for the Disney College program, allow them a little bit of a taste of the company and the culture. And then they'll still apply for those Disney internships, because just because you come on the college program, right? I did the college program, and then I did a Disney internship. You can do that. And those recruiters are looking for something that separates you. So whether it's a Disney college program, whether it's something outside of the box or something unique, definitely they're very competitive. So you want to make sure that your resume and your experiences stand out. Look at those job postings too. The hiring manager, the recruiter is really telling you what they're looking for in a candidate. So make sure that you're sprinkling in those keywords and details that they're looking for. Please don't like copy and paste, but if you're using the same resume for every job that you're enrolled, that you're applying, you're not doing yourself a service. You really need to tailor and tweak each of your resumes. Now, I'm here to tell you too, as someone who's been through this process, you will hear no, or you will maybe not move forward in different positions. Please don't give up. Continue to put yourself out there. Continue to learn. If you do get an interview in any sort of field, make sure you take that seriously and prep. I can't tell you how many times I've interviewed someone and I'm like, hey, tell me a little bit about yourself. And it goes on for like 10 minutes. That's not what I'm looking for, right? So and I say that because a lot of people are like, oh, I know how to answer that question, but really making sure that you're doing yourself a service and, practicing those tough hitting questions, making sure you're watching your mannerisms, how you're answering things. So really making sure that you're doing your due diligence and practice and being vulnerable too, like having someone interview you. I know it's scary, but it really is helpful. Yeah, making sure your professional certificates are on there as well. You really need something to make you stand out and showcase your skill set. Okay, I know I'm over in time, RJ. I'm so sorry.
No, we so appreciate you joining and sharing insights into the Disney College program. I know, Brittany, just you and I speaking, we do have a lot of interest from our WGU
Yeah.
students and alumni. So it's always exciting to have employers come in where we do see that level of interest. And we have quite a few students and alums that have gone through the Disney College program. So that's something encouraging for those on the call. Like, hey, like we do have quite a few WGU individuals that have gone through this program. So just, something to keep in the back of your mind if you are serious, like, hey, here's a great opportunity to pursue this. But no, Brittany, we so appreciate you jumping in and sharing your insight. A reminder to everybody, the session was recorded, so that recording will be sent out tomorrow. Also, the survey I had posted into the chat. Like I said, should take you no more than 2 minutes to fill that out. But we would encourage you to take the time and do that so we can get that feedback from you all. But thank you everybody for jumping in. Brittany, I just want to leave you any closing remarks that you might have that you wanted to wrap up.
Oh my gosh, how much time do I have? No, I'm just kidding. No, thank you all so much for not only having me, but really just being an engaging group and really a fun group as well too. As RJ mentioned, you have a lot of alum who have been part of this program. I was even telling him before you jump on, you already have 6 people who have been accepted for the spring season, and our application or for offer waves have only just started to go. So really, you're in really great company as well. Think about this, right? Share it with other friends who might have an interest because it really is a life-changing experience and you'll really learn so much about yourself. And it's a great opportunity to add some uniqueness to your resume as well. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you everyone for jumping in and thank you again, Brittany, for
doing
the session.
Anytime.
All right, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. Take care.
Have a magical day, everyone. I had to. Bye. Yeah.